She has lived long enough to understand the patterns of destiny, long enough to watch how life rearranges itself in strange and unexpected ways. And when she speaks, she doesn't speak lightly. She carries a certain calmness in her voice, the kind that comes only from years of surviving storms, rebuilding dreams, and watching her children walk into greatness with nothing but courage and stubborn hope. That's why when she leans in as if to whisper something meant only for a specific person, for you, it feels different. It feels as if she already knows something you don't. As if she has seen a future that your eyes haven't caught up to yet. She says it gently at first, almost in a tone that carries both wonder and certainty. She has watched the world talk endlessly about her son, the genius, the builder, the restless mind who pushes humanity forward, but she has also watched something else silently taking shape. She has noticed how life tends to circle back to certain people, how signs appear at the precise moment someone needs direction, inspiration, or awakening. And recently, she says, someone has been appearing in her thoughts in the most unexpected way, you, not by name, not by face, but by presence. She describes it almost like a feeling, something intuitive and persistent, as if a thread has been tugging at her, telling her that there is someone out there, someone reading, someone listening, someone standing at the edge of their next chapter, who needs to hear what she knows. And that if she doesn't speak it aloud, it might never reach the one person it is meant for. She begins by saying that destiny is never random. People cross paths for a reason, even when they never physically meet. She has seen this happen with her son more times than she can count, how people who were meant to inspire him appeared at the most unlikely moments, how people who needed encouragement somehow ended up hearing his words at the exact second they were ready to change their lives. She has watched how invisible connections play a role in shaping futures. And now, she says, the connection has drifted toward you. She smiles in that warm, knowing way, the type of smile only a mother whose child changed the world can have. She says that the world often imagines great destinies are reserved only for a chosen few, but that is not true. The world changes because of people who decide to move differently, think differently, and believe in possibilities that others overlook. She saw this in her son long before anyone else did. She saw it when he was still a young boy, tinkering with ideas, pushing boundaries, questioning everything that seemed normal. She saw it when everyone doubted him, when the world mocked him, when people said his dreams were unrealistic. Yet through every moment, even the painful ones, she saw something that others couldn't see, determination wrapped in quiet brilliance, and now she says that same spark exists somewhere inside you. She says it without hesitation. She felt it instinctively, the same quiet spark, the same hunger for change, the same unspoken belief that your life is meant for something larger than what you're settling for. She says that you might not fully see it yet. You might be doubting yourself, questioning your path, wondering whether the vision in your heart is real or just wishful thinking. But she insists that the feeling inside you is not an accident. It is not random. It is not a coincidence. She tells you the secret softly. Her son was not born extraordinary. He became extraordinary because he refused to give up, even when everything around him told him to stop. And the true secret is that greatness doesn't start with resources, background, connections, or luck. It begins with a decision, a deeply private decision, that no one applauds at first. The decision to believe that there is more ahead for you than what you see right now. She tells you that you are standing at the edge of something bigger than you realize. The energy around you has been shifting. Your inner restlessness is not a sign of confusion, it is a sign of awakening. Something in you is preparing to outgrow old limitations, old environments, old fears. And the reason you feel pulled to messages like this, the reason your mind keeps returning to ideas you can't shake off, the reason life seems to be nudging you over and over again, is because your next chapter is already calling you, loudly. She says that her son did not rise by following the rules. He rose by following the pull. The pull toward innovation. The pull toward possibility. The pull toward a future that only he could see. And you, she says, have a pull inside you as well, one you've been ignoring, suppressing, or doubting because you thought it was too unrealistic, too big, too risky, or too different from what others expect. But she insists that this pull is your path. She talks about how every destiny requires a moment of awakening, a moment when you stop waiting for permission and start stepping into your own power. She has watched countless people underestimate themselves because they thought their dreams were too large. And yet, she has seen how one simple decision can change everything, the decision to start, even if you don't know how everything will unfold. She explains that the universe does not reveal the entire road. It reveals the first step. And then the next. And then the next. That is how her son built his future, one impossible step at a time. And she believes that you, too, are being guided towards something meaningful. Something transformative, something that might not make sense to others but feels undeniably right to your spirit. She wants you to know that you are not the kind of person who ends up reading messages like this by accident. You are not someone who stumbles into inspiration randomly. You are someone whose life is trying to shift into alignment with the future that belongs to you. And sometimes the universe chooses the most unexpected messengers to deliver that push forward. She says that the secret she's revealing is not just about her son, it's about you. About the fact that someone like you carries a potential that has been silent for too long. She says that you may not have grown up with support, encouragement, or understanding. You may not have had people who believed in your ideas, your talents, or your vision. You may have even been surrounded by people who doubted you, misunderstood you, or dismissed your dreams, but none of that determines your future. What determines your future is what you decide from this moment forward. She says that the fire inside you is not accidental, and it is not small. She says your life is about to shift in ways you never thought possible, not because of luck, but because your spirit has reached a point where it can no longer stay where it is. Growth is calling you. Purpose is calling you. Your potential is calling you. She takes a slow breath before continuing, as if the next part of what she wants to say must be delivered gently, carefully, with the kind of love only a mother can give. She talks about how people often assume greatness is loud, obvious, and exaggerated. But in truth, she says, it begins quietly inside a person, long before anyone around them notices. It begins as a whisper that tells you that your life is meant to stretch beyond the boundaries you've lived in so far. She says you have been hearing that whisper more often than you admit. It shows up when you're alone, when the world is quiet, when no one is expecting anything from you. It shows up when your mind wanders and your heart imagines something different. Something better, something new. That whisper is your potential trying to speak to you. And though you have tried to ignore it, silence it, or push it aside, it has grown louder because it refuses to disappear. She knows that feeling too well. She saw it in her son when he was young, a deep inner restlessness, a sense that the world was too small for what lived inside him. He didn't always know what he would become, he only knew that he wasn't meant to shrink himself to fit into the expectations of other people. And that is the same thing she senses in you. She recognizes the signs, the quiet frustration, the unexplainable longing, the desire to break free from a life that doesn't feel fully aligned with who you truly are. She says that this feeling is not a burden. It is an invitation. Some people live their entire lives never feeling that pull towards something greater, never sensing the inner certainty that they are meant for more. But you feel it. And even if you sometimes mistake it for confusion or anxiety, she promises you it is actually the beginning of awakening. She wants you to understand something important. The world needs people like you. People who think differently. People who feel deeply. People who question the limits placed upon them. People who dare to imagine futures others cannot. Her son changed industries, nations, and imaginations because he refused to accept the limitations that others believed were permanent. And while your journey may look different, while your mission, your dream, your purpose may not resemble his, it holds value, power, and meaning just the same. She says that the universe does not give great visions to ordinary hearts. If you've been carrying a dream inside you that feels too big, too unusual, or too bold, it is because it was meant specifically for you. Not for someone with more resources. Not for someone with more confidence. Not for someone with a smoother past. You were chosen for it because you have the spirit that can sustain it. She pauses, studying you in that perceptive, motherly way, the way someone looks at you when they already know your worth before you've even claimed it for yourself. She says that the challenges you've gone through were not coincidences either. They shaped you. They strengthened you. They carved depth into your soul. She has seen how people with the hardest journeys often become the ones with the strongest futures. Pain does not diminish destiny. It prepares you for it. She speaks of the times her son felt misunderstood, underestimated, or pushed aside. Those moments fueled him. They taught him resilience, creativity, and bravery. They taught him to rely on his own belief rather than the approval of others. And she says that you, too, have been walking through a period of becoming, a period where you've had to stand on your own strength, even when you didn't realize that's what you were doing. She leans back slightly, as if observing the energy around you. Then she says something that feels strangely personal, as if she is speaking directly to the part of you that you rarely reveal to anyone. She tells you that someone like you carries a silent brilliance that others may not always notice, but the universe does. And brilliance is never wasted. It always finds its way into light, even if the beginning of the journey feels dark or uncertain. She explains that life often delays your breakthrough on purpose. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. If everything you wanted arrived before you were ready, you would lose it. But when life stretches you, challenges you, humbles you, and teaches you, it is building the character and clarity you need for your moment of elevation. She says you are closer to that moment than you think. She can feel it in the way your heart responds to messages like this. She can sense it in the way your spirit grows quiet when something important is being revealed. She recognizes the shift happening inside you, a shift that tells her you are beginning to outgrow the version of yourself that settled for less, held back out of fear, or doubted your worth. She speaks the secret clearly now, as if she wants it to echo inside you long after you stop reading. Your life is not meant to stay the same. You are not meant to repeat old cycles. Old doubts, old environments, or old limitations. You are not meant to dim yourself to fit into places you've outgrown. You are not meant to remain stuck, confused, or small. Something inside you is ready to rise, ready to step into a new identity, a new purpose, a new chapter that aligns with who you truly are becoming. She says there is a version of you that the world has not met yet, a version with more courage, more clarity, more confidence, and more strength. And that version of you is trying to emerge. It has been calling you in your thoughts, your dreams, your intuition, even in your frustrations. Everything in your life right now, the restlessness, the desire for change, the inner push, is preparation for transformation. She reminds you that her son's journey was not straightforward. It was filled with doubt, resistance, and impossible moments. But he succeeded because he trusted the pull more than the obstacles. And she believes that if you trust your own pull, the one tugging at your spirit right now, you will discover a future that feels right, purposeful, and aligned with who you truly are. She says the universe does not awaken you just to tease you. If you're feeling called, it means the path is opening. If you're sensing change, it means momentum is building. If you're imagining more for your life, it means that more is already on its way. And then she smiles again, that warm, knowing, reassuring smile, and tells you the part of the secret most people never hear: you are not behind, you are not late, you have not failed, you are exactly where your transformation begins. She looks at you as if she's seeing not just who you are today, but who you are becoming. And in that gaze, there is something unmistakably reassuring, a silent confirmation that your journey is not random, not wasted, not overlooked. She knows what it's like to guide someone with extraordinary potential long before the world recognizes it. She knows what it's like to carry hope through uncertainty, to nurture strength through storms, to believe in a future that feels too far away to touch. And as she speaks now, she brings that same kind of belief to you. She begins to talk about timing, how life has a way of aligning the right messages at the right moments. You came across this message today not out of boredom, not out of coincidence, but because something in your soul was ready to hear it. She says the universe nudges you toward the words you need at the exact moment you need them. And while many people ignore those nudges, you didn't. You followed it. You listened. That alone tells her something important. You are ready for the next chapter in your life. She says you might not realize how much strength you've been building quietly. She talks about the difficult nights you've endured, the overwhelming days you've survived, the silent battles no one else knows about. She acknowledges the moments you lost motivation but kept going anyway. The moments you felt alone but still showed up for your responsibilities. The moments you doubted everything but didn't give up. She tells you that these moments were not signs of weakness, they were evidence of your power. She says that you, just like her son once did, have walked through things that would break most people. Yet you didn't break. You bent. You stretched. You adapted. You learned. That is what powerful people do, often without even realizing it. She tells you that resilience is built in silence, and you have been building it for longer than you think. She takes a soft breath and shares a deeper truth, one that feels heavier, more intimate, as if she is lifting a curtain from your future. She says you are about to step into a different season of your life. One where clarity replaces confusion, where purpose replaces hesitation, where progress replaces stagnation. She says this shift will not happen all at once, but it will happen unmistakably. Your energy is changing. Your mindset is changing. Your vision is changing. And those inner shifts are the first signs of outer breakthroughs. She explains that the universe always tests a person right before their transformation. Not to break them, but to refine them. She tells you that the difficulties you've faced lately were not punishments, they were preparation. You have been shedding old identities, old beliefs, old cycles, and old fears. You have been making room for something better. Even if you didn't realize that's what you were doing. The discomfort you felt was the space inside you expanding. Growth always feels like pressure before it feels like power. She says that your intuition has been trying to guide you, but life's noise may have drowned it out. She wants you to trust yourself again. Trust your instincts. Trust your ideas. Trust the subtle whispers that tell you you're meant for more. She has watched her son build impossible dreams by trusting thoughts that others dismissed. She believes that your thoughts, the ones you keep suppressing, are leading you toward a version of your life that you haven't fully imagined yet, but deeply desire. She leans forward as if she wants to make sure you don't miss the next part. The part that feels like the heart of her secret. She tells you that you have a distinctive role in this world, something uniquely yours, something no one else can replace. Your experiences, your pain, your talents, your dreams, your perspective, all of it forms a combination that does not exist in anyone else. She says that the universe doesn't create duplicates. It creates originals. And you are one of them. She says your journey will influence people you might never meet, inspire minds you'll never know, and change lives in ways you won't always see. That is the hidden power of every person who chooses to step into their purpose. And she believes it is your time to step into yours. She speaks now with a calm certainty that radiates through her words. She says that the next chapter of your life will require courage, not the loud, aggressive kind, but the quiet courage to choose yourself, to believe in your vision, to start even when you are afraid. She tells you that courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move forward despite it. And she is confident that you are ready for that decision. She tells you not to shrink your dreams to match your surroundings. Instead, expand your surroundings to match your dreams. Surround yourself with people who see your value, with environments that feed your growth, with habits that align with your future. She says her son grew because he dared to put himself in spaces bigger than his comfort zone. You must do the same. Then she reveals the final layer of her secret, the part that truly involves you. She says she didn't feel compelled to speak because of what her son has achieved. She felt compelled because she senses a parallel in you, a reflection of the early spark she saw in him. She sees the same quiet fire, the same restless energy, the same hunger to become something greater than your circumstances. She sees the potential of someone who can transform not just their own life, but the lives of others. She tells you that you may not see it yet, but the universe does. And now she does too. She says that when you walk into the fullness of who you're meant to be, the world around you will shift. Opportunities will start appearing. Ideas will begin flowing. People who resonate with your future will gravitate toward you. Doors that were once closed will open. Momentum will build. And you will finally understand why your path looked the way it did, not to discourage you, but to shape you. She says your story is far from over. In fact, it is just beginning. She gives you one last smile, warm, gentle, full of recognition, and tells you to remember this: you have more power than you realize, more potential than you've tapped into, more purpose than you've accepted, and more blessings aligning for you than you can see. The universe is not against you. It is positioning you, and then, with a softness that feels like a blessing, she says that the reason she felt moved to speak, the reason she felt the need to reveal this secret, is because she knows that when someone like you is awakened, the world around them transforms. She believes in you, she sees what you don't yet see, and she knows, truly knows, that your time is coming.